What is up, people? What's happening? It is the Brother Sisters. They're live. Oh, and sneezing. Good job sneezing into your shirt, Ann Brothers. Excellent.
Thanks.
That's good.
It's a massage therapy thing.
Nice. I know. I did a video at school this year reminding students how to sneeze into their elbow. It was very successful.
I'm sure it was.
At least for me.
You're the only one that matters there, so we both know that.
So here we are on a Friday, Ann Brothers. It is. Ooh, look. Lori Worrell Ann wants you to know that she loves your hair.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love it too. I was so I went to my hairdresser and I was like, I could kiss you on the mouth. Thank you so much.
I like I said, I went to the Great Clips as well, but it's harder to tell if I got a haircut because I was actually maintaining my hair, using the RoboCut. So yeah, I actually went and got a regular haircut. So yeah, right on. So what's new in Chelsea, Michigan?
Well, I had to get a new part of my roof replaced today, so that was exciting. I felt very bad for the gentleman doing it because it is hot here today, and you know what, kids, graduate from high school and get your high school diplomas because once you get tired of roofing, you'll at least have an education to fall back on because that is hard, hot work.
Yeah.
And bless them because they put on a beautiful new roof and now my roof won't leak anymore. So
Yay!
I'm actually at my neighbor Janet's house using her Wi-Fi because our dish was on that part of the roof. So we're waiting so that it has to be put back on tomorrow. So I'm, using my neighbor's internet, sitting on her porch, drinking my mojito.
That's right. It's Mojito Day. Let's take a minute and let's thank you, Janet, for letting us use your Wi-Fi. That way we didn't have some unfortunate incident like we did on Monday. So there you go. So yes, we are absolutely positively doing mojitos today. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick history lesson on the mojito and recipe. So look, there's Marla the cat. She's amazing. All right. So here we go. Today we are talking about the mojito. That is our drink of choice. You can see I have mine in a fantastic mason jar. Anne has hers in one of her fancy glasses that she got somewhere. I don't know where.
I got it from Grandma Brothers. She had a set of 6. She used them for bridge days.
Oh, that is awesome. I know. That's super cool. I was just talking about Avis this morning. I miss her. Don't you miss her?
All the time.
So those of you that don't know, Avis Brothers is Ann and I's paternal grandmother, and she was just really awesome. She's the reason that Ann and I are the way we are is because of our parents, obviously, and A minus is Ava. She was our grandmother, and we spent a lot of time. She lived close to us growing up, and she was a teacher. And just honestly a lifelong learner and just super busy. And we always did stuff and everything was like extra school. It's like you go to grandma's and then you did whatever she was doing. Well, I'm going to go hear this talk at the Grange, or I'm going to go hear this talk with the Methodist ladies, or we're going to go do this, or we have to go pick this, or we have to go water these, or we have to go weed the garden. So it was just like whatever Ava was doing, we were doing. And it was really fun. So
she was our real grandma.
I know. Sorry, Mom. So our maternal grandmother, Susie, was, she lived in Denver. She was much farther away and she wasn't nearly as fun. And so there was an incident where when we were children and we were in Colorado and Anne was showing me a picture of Avis to remind me who our real grandmother was. And Susie caught wind of that and she was not happy. So anyway, all right, sorry, I got off on a tangent, which is what I do. But let's talk mojito, summer's favorite cocktail. And I say that because mojitos, you guys, are a great choice for a summer cocktail because they are light, they are icy and refreshing. They won't weigh you down with a bunch of like a rum and coke is good, but it's also kind of sugary after a while. You can kind of make a mojito more or less sugary to your taste. It's not like a daiquiri, which can be icy and delicious, but again, a little bit on the sweet side. Mojito you can back off of that if you want to. So as far as a mojito, it is a rum-based traditional Cuban highball cocktail that also features mint, lime, sugar, and soda. And there are many ways that you can deal with the sugar. Like, for instance, I use a honey simple syrup in mine rather than using grain sugar, but you can also use a granular sugar if you want. It's up to you. And what did you use?
I also used a simple syrup, but I just used a granular sugar simple syrup. And actually, it's the same simple syrup I feed my hummingbirds. So
Dude,
there
if
you
it's
go.
good enough for the hummingbirds, it's good enough for you.
I
I
used hummingbird simple syrup. That's how fancy I am.
know, you're so fancy. So can you just like dump your mojito into the hummingbird feeder? Would that work?
Oh, I don't want them to get drunk and bang into the windows.
That's fair. That's cool. All right. All right. So here's a brief history of the mojito. The history is varied. There are lots of different resources and a lot of different things, but okay. These are kind of some of the things that the historians agree on. Number one, it's Cuban. They're pretty sure, which makes sense because that's a lot of where rum comes from, sugar, cane, that sort of thing. So back in the day, Cuban rum was basically moonshine. So this would have been back a couple hundred years ago, so much so that it was almost undrinkable. So those that were drinking it would use things like lime and mint and sugar and pretty much whatever they could get their hands on to make it taste better. So, which makes sense. So as the rum improved and Havana started to gain in status and became more popular after the Spanish-American War, mojitos sort of became instead of kind of a drink for the poor, it sort of became a drink for the more wealthy. So it became very famous during Prohibition because Americans would come across the water to Havana to drink because they couldn't drink in the United States. And as a result of that, the mojito really started to gain in popularity, and it kind of exploded in popularity because Ernest Hemingway loved it. It was a favorite of his, and so as a result, people were like, if it's good enough for Ernie, it's good enough for me. And then it's not a favorite of bartenders because it is a little bit labor intensive and it's hard to make in larger quantities. Yes, you can make a pitcher of mojitos, but again, if you're a bartender and you're totally in the weeds, it's not your favorite thing to make. Kind of like any blender drink. In bartending
Blender's
school,
broken.
blender's broken. In bartending school, they taught us that if somebody orders a blender drink, you just tell them that the blender's broken. Ooh, secrets of the trade. um, And the mojito is still crazy popular. It's especially crazy popular now because it's hip and cool, and you can do lots of things to it. You can add fruit. You can have a strawberry mojito, or mango mojito, or a blueberry mojito, or whatever. So they're really good. And the final endorsement comes from Marla the cat, who just loves the mojito. Isn't she cute? She's
She
lounging on
looks
the
very
bed right now.
sophisticated.
She's a very sophisticated cat, so as a result of that, she does love her a good mojito. As far as the recipe, stuff you'll need rum, you'll need mint, and if you can get homegrown mint, it's just better than that sad mint you get at the store. 4 good chunky lime wedges, a half ounce of simple syrup. You can also use a couple tablespoons of sugar, club soda and or Sprite to top it with. It depends on how sweet you want it to be. The sugar or the simple syrup is automatically going to make it a little bit sweet. So if you don't want extra sweet, just top it off with a club soda. If you want a little bit more sweet, top it off with Sprite on top of your club soda. If you want the recipe, you guys, I will happily email you my recipe, or you can just watch this video and pause it here and look at the recipe. Just know that the big thing here is that, like, when you muddle your mint, don't mutilate the mint. Just muddle it just lightly, just enough to get that spearmint oil out of the mint, and it will be really tasty without clogging up your straw. So anyway, there you go, the mojito. Oh, look, Lisa Lee has a comment for her, and she says, if you look at the ceiling in the Skull Lounge, I believe there is a blender drink stuck on the ceiling in one spot. I would not be surprised because that it's gross, and it's easy to overlook that sort of thing. Yeah, and blender drinks are
Is it?
pain. Yeah. So anyway, that's your history of the mojito. That's what we were drinking. Let us take a moment, Ann Brothers, to quickly toast with our mojito. Here's to you, Ann Brothers.
Here's to you, Jenny Brothers.
And here's to those of you that are watching and enjoying this. And again, you guys, it's a great summer drink. And it's good because you can kind of dip on it. And the ice, as it melts into it, actually kind of makes it taste kind of yummy, too. It doesn't get all watery, especially if you have that little extra bit of sweet, which I do right now, because I have a sweet tooth. It's that one right there.
And that one right there.
Yep. So anyway, there you go, your history of the mojito. So people are going to think we have a Cuba complex because we did Cuba Libres last week and we did Mojitos this week. Um, Basically, we're
It's
doing
not
that, you
our
guys.
fault that Cubans know how to do a good summer drink.
They do. They make good summer drinks because it's always hot down there. And right now, rum is the only alcohol that Anne has in her house that isn't beer. So
That's
there
true.
you go.
That's so true.
So we'll probably have to do another rum drink next week, but yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, there you go. What do you think of your mojito, Anne?
I think it's good. I'd put probably more club soda in it than most people would, just because I'm a lightweight and I like club soda. And I sometimes when I've had mojitos, they're too boozy, and so I like just a little. I like to taste more of the lime and the sweet than I do the booze. So there you
Ooh,
go.
that reminds me. Speaking of that, I actually on this one you can use. There are many different types of rum you can use in a mojito. I actually chose to make mine today, so I wanted to see what it would taste like with Bacardi Limon, which is their lemon lime rum. And I gotta tell you,
Oh.
it's banging, as the cool kids say.
Yes, the cool kids will no longer say that now.
I know. I have immediately made this uncool. You're welcome.
It's like having your teacher rap. Man, you just made rap music completely uncool.
I said this to I did something like that to one of my students. I had a student a few years ago. His name was Yossi. And he would get just so uncomfortable when I would do nerdy stuff like that. I did that once. I'm like, because it's what the cool kids do. And he's like, Miss Brothers, you can never, ever, ever say that again. And he would cover his face and be like, Miss Brothers, no!
He was just looking out for you, Jenny. He was just like,
trying so
oh
hard.
man, this poor woman is just,
yes.
She's like a babe in the woods. If I don't tell her, she's just going to humiliate herself all the time.
Totally. I'm like, dude, I've been teaching for 20 years. There's nothing left to humiliate. It's all gone.
Exactly. Dignity, that was gone decades ago.
Yeah, dignity was gone in year one, month, day one. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, I gotta make a comment on Jan's comment. She said I had a place that made her a mojito. She said here she tried to say, I know spell check sucks, and it's great at the same time with dried mint. Ew. Yeah. Look at me. Look at me right now. Look me in the eye. Don't ever let anybody talk you into dry mint. If they don't have mint, then for God's sake, just order something else.
What are you, a baleen whale? You got to suck that through the sieve of your mouth.
Yeah, gross. So yeah, if you go to a place and they tell you that they don't have fresh mint, then just find another drink. It's okay.
Exactly.
You are worth more than dried mint. So Jan, the good news for you is you will never make that mistake again. That was a teachable moment. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. All right, Anne. So here we are on a Friday. Unfortunately, you guys, bad news. That this is going to be the last Friday for the two of us for a while because Anne goes back to work next week and she's a working woman on Friday. So the bad news is we won't have our Friday afternoon club. The good news is we are going to start having bar Thursdays. So
it's just like in college.
I know, right? And so it's really, you guys, there's a reason to drink every night of the week. So anyway, Thursday is my favorite day of the week because when you go to college, Thursday's bar night, which means there's tons of drink specials, there's quarter pitchers, there's places you can go dancing, and then you stay up really late and you have too much to drink, and then you get up and you're one of the 4 people in your 8 o'clock class, and your professor thinks you're amazing. So there.
And you throw up in your shoe and you're writing in mascara because you can't find a pencil.
That's right. Yeah, that happens. Oops. Anyway.
I loved undergrad so much.
I know, it just really is just the greatest thing ever. I'm like, God,
I couldn't believe it. They let me go. Oh my God.
But it was fun. All right, so the other reason we are here today is because we will be reviewing. I don't even know if reviewing is the right word. We are dissecting, disseminating the movie Twister because it literally is one of the great disaster movies of all time. In fact, as far as earth science movies go, there is not a better earth science movie than Twister.
There is not.
There is not. So, Anne, would you like to take us through your thoughts on Twister?
First of all, I love this movie, and I can't tell you exactly why. I just love it. I pretty much have it memorized, which is ridiculous. But anyway, it's about Dr. Joe, who has lost her father at a young age from a tornado, and now she is a grown woman trying to find the answers to tornadoes and also the answers to love, which, is a nice metaphor. Tornadoes are a nice metaphor for love. And of course, drama, intrigue, excitement ensues.
Yes. So here's the first slide. And one of the things I noticed that when you watch this, right now you can currently find Twister on Netflix. One of the fun things about Twister is that when you turn it on and it shows you the rating up in the corner and it says rated PG-13. And then right underneath it, it says, and I have it in quotes on this first slide, it says intense depictions of very bad weather.
I loved that so much. I saw that. I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. This is why this movie is awesome.
Yes. And yes, the weather is very bad in Twister, but I just thought that just made me, I'm like, that's fantastic. So
it is
just
fantastic.
You know what you're in for, because for those of you that didn't know that tornadoes were very bad weather, now you know. Okay.
Now you know.
All right. And go ahead and start us off if you want to take a look at this next slide.
So we, first thing I did as I was going through the movie, Duncan made fun of me because I was taking copious notes, but I did go to college, so I do know how to take notes. So I was making my favorite quotes, and I have more than this, but these are the ones that made the list. And of course, I put the picture of the cow because that's one of my favorite quotes. Cow.
Cow.
So my next favorite quote is "Roll the map." That's the character Rabbit, and his job would be superfluous now because most everything would be on GPS, but he was the map dude. So how can you not like him? And then, I'm sorry, Jen, it's all really small for me, and I couldn't get my my thing to work, my notebook to work, and then I forgot to bring my written notebook with me, so I can't read the other ones because it's too tiny.
I got you. So Anne's first quote that she loves is "Roll the maps." The second one is Joe when she's talking about Jonas, who's the bad guy, and she's looking at him on TV, and she's like, "Oh, he really is in love with himself. I thought it was just a summer thing," which is one of the best lines in the whole movie, as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's a really funny line.
I was like, totally snarky. I was like, and intelligent, because most of the time they're like, saying like just what bros would say about other bros, but I'm like, oh, that's really funny. So there you go.
Extreme. Yeah.
Oh, it's the suck zone. Dusty.
Dusty, who is played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, who is fabulous in this movie. He's such a jagweed in this movie, and you can't help but love him. But yeah, he's whispering to somebody about the tornado will suck you up. It's the suck zone. So anyway,
this next one is. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Anne's fourth quote is Dr. Melissa Reeves, who is a reproductive therapist, and this is one of her quotes. Go for it, Anne.
She didn't only marry your penis, or she didn't marry you just for your penis. Well, she didn't only marry your penis. Awesome. As the tornado is coming to suck them up. So wonderful.
I know. So she's trying to counsel somebody literally as they're driving through a tornado. Awesome. Number 5, when they're talking about the fact that Bill is naked.
He is without apparel. Because he kept arguing that he wasn't naked. I wasn't naked. He is without apparel.
Yes. Number 6, again, we go back to Alan Rusk's character of the rabbit when he is trying to guide them through fields because they're trying to get to the tornado before Terrible Jonas gets to the tornado, and Rabbit says,
"Trust me, Rabbit is good, Rabbit is wise."
Nice. Number 7. So anyway, at one point during the movie, because you see what happened is that you got Joe and Bill, the two main characters, and they used to be married and they're getting divorced, which is why Bill is there with his new fiancée, Melissa. So anyway, there's so much that happens, and then Melissa starts to figure out that maybe she shouldn't be marrying Bill. And anyway, she totally breaks up with him after this really intense tornado scene, and they're got to go save Aunt Meg, and she's like, "I'm gonna go," and he's like, "No, don't do this now." And then she says to him,
"Oh, don't worry about me. I can find my way home."
Oh, good. Nice southern accent. That's awesome.
Much dignity. So much dignity. So much dignity.
And I'm going to talk about in a little bit why Melissa is the most important character in this movie, but we'll get to that. All right. Number 8, Melissa delivers another fantastic line.
"I gotta go, Julie. We got cows."
We got cows. Okay, another great quote. See, this is another reason why Melissa is the most important character, because she has yet another great quote. Go.
You know, when you told me that you used to chase tornadoes, deep down inside, I thought it was just a metaphor. And
Nice.
actually, it is a metaphor. She's right, actually.
She's right. I know. Gosh, this movie is deep. So deep. And you thought you were just going to watch a tornado movie? Think again. You guys, when you watch this movie like tonight, as soon as we're done here, you're going to look at this movie completely different from now
Totally
on.
different.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. And then finally, my favorite quote of the movie, number 10, imminent ruage. In fact, Ann Brothers, I have a note for your husband. Joe and I have been patiently waiting for Duncan to make a beer called Imminent Brewage. Come on!
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm totally going to tell him that, because it seems like it seems like a slam dunk. What was he thinking? Imminent
I don't
brewage.
know. Imminent Brewage. And I don't care what he makes. It needs to be awesome, though. And it needs to be called Imminent Brewage.
You're right. It needs to be tornado inspired.
Tornado inspired.
Anyway.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, so it's been bothering me for years. So, okay. I've been waiting for Duncan to come up with this by himself, but obviously that's not going to work out.
Obviously not.
Anne's reasons to watch Twister, go.
Okay, the first reason to watch this Twister is it's 2-time Academy Award nominated film, co-written by Michael Crichton. And in case you don't know who Michael Crichton is, he wrote Jurassic Park, he wrote Spear, he also was the co-producer of the show ER, so yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Do you want me to do the next one?
Yes, you do the next one.
All right, the next reason to watch Twister is a Southern villain played by an English gentleman. That would be Cary Elwes, who plays Dr. Jonas Miller, who is the bad guy in this movie.
And of course, number 3, strong, super female scientist. So yes. We need more characters like that. I'll talk a little bit later why the reasons, that this is a questionable movie, but that's a good reason right there. Great. So if you're looking for strong female character who wrangles everybody, I mean, she gets everybody to chase tornadoes. Come on.
She does. Yep. Do you want to do the next one? Can you see that one?
Sure,
all right?
You do the next one.
All right. The Righteous Nerd Squad with awesome tunes. The soundtrack to this movie is quite good. It includes Van Halen with Sammy Hagar and Shania Twain.
And Goo Goo Dolls.
That's right. Goo Goo Dolls. It's like I said, awesome tunes with people know how to pull together, whether they're chasing tornadoes, making the sensors fly, or saving poor Aunt Meg. So, that's right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's see. Super cool. I'm sorry, I can't read it. Super cool artist Aunt Meg, who also knows how to make an awesome steak. So not only is she an amazing artist, she can also, it's like that old commercial for that perfume. I can, bring up the bacon right up in the pan. Right up in the pan. You're a man, because I'm a woman. And then put cheap perfume name here. So so that's what it reminds. So she's like super cool, amazing artist, and she knows how to cook a steak. So
that's right.
I mean, what man
she's
would love
super wise, because she just super wise. She talks to Joe about how the fact that Bill is still there and he's still gonna love her, and it's just weepy. So
it's weepy. Yeah.
Yes. And then, of course, we have the fact that Twister is a movie that is not afraid to quote other movies. For instance, Repo Man and Star Wars. Because this is...
I'm like, should I put these quotes? And I'm like, well, it's not really a quote of that movie. It's a quote of another movie. So there you go.
Quoting other movies. Yeah, and they're like really bro quotes too. Like, dude, that's no moon. That's a space station.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yes, brilliant indeed. All right, now here we have maybe coming up next some of the reasons that Twister not to watch Twister. All right, go ahead.
So too much, macho-ness, hormone added macho men, like, pretending to fight each other, but it's like they probably never made a fist in their life. The tornadoes are dramatic enough. We do not need the pseudo bro machoism.
No, nor the love story. You put that as your next one. The tornadoes are awesome
Yeah.
enough that we do not need the love of the love tension between Bill and Joe. I would agree, it was annoying. So
Yeah. Let's see. Sorry.
you were talking about the dubious science.
Oh gosh, very dubious science. Okay, first of all, you cannot tell how strong a tornado is by looking at it. You have to look at the damage path afterwards. So you can't look at it and say, "Oh, that's a F5," or "Oh, that's an F2." Can't do that. Also, you can't look at the radar and say, "Oh, a tornado's right there," or "A tornado's going to drop right here." If we could do that already, we wouldn't need the sensors. We wouldn't need this movie. So those are just two of the very dubious things that are like, oh, okay. But,
My,
we don't care because we love the movie so much.
that's right. My favorite part is when the girl looks at the tornado and she's like, "It's about to shift northeast." I'm like, "What is it? Have a sign? I'm about to shift northeast." I don't know.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, does it have a turn signal on it?
And your final reason, well, you had two other reasons not to watch Twister. And talk to me about Dusty. Why
Okay,
he's not awesome.
Okay, so Dusty, in the 1990s, he's a handsy sort of in your space character with all the lovely ladies. And so in the 90s, that would have been considered endearing. Nowadays, it would need to be, he would need to have a trigger warning, because he's like, okay, back off, dude. Nobody thinks you're pawing me is cute. So yeah, he
Yeah,
would get kneed in the balls a lot in 2020.
yeah. Melissa took the brunt of his handsiness for sure.
Yes, for sure.
And then finally, you said there seems to be in this movie only room for one strong female lead in any science movie. And honestly, compared to other movies, yeah, this is pretty good because they have a female science lead. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, so they got to throw in at least one. At least she was the lead, but come on, people, you
I get.
know.
No, 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 no.
So,
All
but
right, and
we've come a long way. Anyway,
yes. All right. Now we have 7 things we learned from Twister. Go ahead.
okay. That if you are a villain in a movie about Twister, and you don't believe tornadoes, or you're just, some guy with no instincts and a lot of, high tech gadgets, you are going to die super, super badly. So it's important that you not be a corporate kiss ass because, dang, I mean, there's movies about child molesters where they don't die as badly as that poor guy.
Time out. Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
So it's 1996, and I want to know because, like, in the line, there's a lot of malice towards Jonas because he's a sellout. Like he's not in it for the science. He's in it for the money. He went out and got himself a bunch of corporate sponsors. My question is, who would your corporate sponsors be in 1996 if you were a tornado chaser? Would it be like Nike or Under
Oh
Armour
my God, I was
or
just thinking that. Is it Nike or
McDonald's?
Adidas? I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
what corporate sponsors? What are they talking about? Corporate sponsors? What?
I'm like, is there like a thermometer company that we don't know about that's like investing a bunch of money in tornado research? Corporate
Maybe.
sponsors. That's an excellent question. Maybe somebody inventing a car and they want to call it the tornado.
Maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if anybody was a sellout, it was Joe's crew because obviously Pepsi sponsored this movie because in the end, when they're cutting up the cans to make the sensors fly, they're all Pepsi cans. I'm like, no, Pepsi didn't sponsor this movie, obviously.
No, exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, there. Okay, so and my next thing I learned is that the nerdier you are, the more heroic you are. And maybe that's something I learned very early in the late 90s, and I've carried it with me ever since. The
Cool.
nerdier you are, the more heroic you are. It's practically something you should learn from The Hobbit.
Yes. Lance has answered our question, and he said Microsoft would sponsor the nerds. And I'm like, Lance, that is correct.
You're right. Thank you, Lance.
Do you think Microsoft would sponsor me? I would be okay. If I say Microsoft like 3 times in a row, can they sponsor me? Microsoft. Huh?
It's like, what was it from the movie Idiocracy? Carl's Jr. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. because they pay me every time I say it. Duh.
Oh, that should be a movie. That should be one of our next movies that we review is Idiocracy.
I think so too. Anyway,
Okay.
okay. So another thing that I learned from this movie is that
You were saying that, okay, you said that the science experts like Joe and Bill should have never gone into the tornado, that it should have been the grad students that were punching the barricade, punching the core. And I would agree. I'm like, why would you ever, like, that's what grad students are for. Come on, you're paying for the college. Send them into the Twister.
They're practically cannon fodder. Practically cannon fodder. So I'm like, I have never known a professor that didn't send a grad student in to do the hard stuff. Like teach the 8:30 a.m. class.
I will say this, though. Dr. Ojala always taught the 8 a.m. Earth Science. He was always there. So good job, Carl F. All right.
Good job.
Lance says Bill Gates would love us. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, of course he would. We're awesome because the more nerdy you are, the more heroic you are, and we're pretty nerdy.
That's right.
The next thing I learned was never drive in a drainage ditch.
Dude, I learned that growing up in Sturgis. Come on, man.
I'm like, wow, that wasn't reiterated. Never. I'm like, trust me, if it's midnight and you're out, doing stuff in a cornfield that you shouldn't be doing, and your Chevette gets stuck in a drainage ditch,
you never
trust
get out.
me, it is no fun. Not that I can speak from personal experience.
Whatever.
You never have to worry about getting killed by flying debris.
I know, right?
Tanker trucks. Nope. It doesn't matter. You can be in the middle of the tornado, and it's not going to matter. The flying debris will not slice you up into a million pieces. So that's nice to know.
Not a scratch. Not a scratch. Yep. So
Yes. My next one is that I miss Bill Paxton.
I know, right? Because in the 90s, he was the better Bill. Because you had Bill Pullman and you had Bill Paxton. And I always thought Bill Paxton was the better Bill. So, as far as I'm concerned.
No, yeah. I miss him. I always knew that it was going to be a good movie if he was in it, because he, though it always wasn't a high budget movie, he always picked good movies. So I miss him.
I would agree. Number 7 was my contribution from what I learned to Twister. And this is, of course, we talked about the fact that Melissa has some of the best quotes in the movie, but I also feel that Melissa is the most important character in this movie, because without her, there would be nobody to mansplain to about tornadoes. There are many spots in this movie where she gets mansplained to because she doesn't know anything about tornadoes, and so then the men have to tell her about, the F scale, the F scale and Mojitos scale, and the fact that these little sensors, their warning systems are not enough. And I'm like, yay, Melissa, thanks for asking all these questions so that you can get mansplained at. Yay! So
Yay!
that's what I.
Well, she just thought tornadoes were metaphors, so
That's true. That's true. She didn't know they were a thing. So
she did not know.
No. So anyway, that is your PhD level breakdown of the movie Twister.
The nerds break down a nerdy movie. You're welcome.
Yes, and Anne, I would agree. I think if you decide to go after a PhD, you should absolutely do your doctoral thesis on the movie Twister and everything that has to do with Twister. So
I think so anyway. Too. I think it would keep me busy for a while, and I think I would kick its ass.
Twister would stand no chance. So
it would stand no chance.
All right. So Lisa Lee says the science is at time laughable, but yet, like you two, I love this movie and can watch it over and over again. I know, Lisa, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, so Lisa, you commented earlier that you had some questions for us regarding Twister. So we would love to hear those questions if you have anything specific in case we did not cover it. We can cover it right now. So I'm doing pretty good. I've got about a quarter of a mojito left. So, all right, here we go. Lisa says, I learned not only will you not get struck by debris, but you will also remain clean. Yes, Lisa, that's right.
Exactly. Yep. Do not worry about getting tetanus from getting all scratched up or killed. And you will not only clean, but like you just got your hair washed and blown out. I mean, like, dang sexy. I'm like, dang, look at that. Bill looks great.
Oh, just the right amount of sweaty to look like I've just exactly. Come from the gym.
Just the right amount of grit and sweat to make me glow, but to make it, definitely, yeah. I'm like, dang, I got to chase more tornadoes.
Yes, you do.
Sexy work. No more cowering in my basement for me. I need a makeover.
Yeah, and the good news is, if you're a tornado chaser, you are a part of that sexy crew. So, yay.
Yes. And based on what I've seen on the Weather Channel, all tornado chasers are sexy.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the tornado, the Weather Channel has picked literally all of the hot scientists in America to work there. So good job, you guys. Good job.
Yeah, they
So,
picked all of them. There's no hot scientists left.
okay, here's Lisa Lee's question. She said, I was wondering about how at the end they were somehow able to outrun the tornado despite it being 20 yards away. Well, Lisa, I'm so glad you asked that, because what I love about that scene is not only did they outrun the tornado, but I love it that the tornado is chasing them.
It's like the tornado's like it's got some taste for blood. It killed the other guy, the corporate kiss butt. It killed him, and now it's out for revenge. That's really
Because
what this is, Jenny. It's a revenge movie.
it's a revenge movie. The funny thing about a tornado is that if you look at historical data in terms of tracks of tornadoes, they really do follow a fairly straight line. They don't curve and then come back and then loop back. I'm like, oh, I'm coming back around to get you. They pretty much go the way the rest of the storm is going, because they're not like some separate entity. They're not. It's not like they're separate from this ginormous 30,000 peaking cumulonimbus cloud or anything like that. So,
No, they have a
I'm just
mind
saying,
of their own. They're a tornado.
So yeah, you would just really work to go essentially perpendicular to the path of the tornado and pretty much count on the fact that it's not going to chase you down. Because if you do have a tornado that's coming straight at you, your chances of outrunning it are zero, especially if you're 20 yards away. So yes, and the fact that it's a
low.
Yes. So anyway, that's hopefully, Lisa, we have answered your question when it comes to that. So that the
I hope
fact
so too.
that I did not know that tornadoes would chase you when you're running away. I'm like, it's like when you're, that you're a little girl and they're telling you that if you have a dog, they're like, don't move, because if you run away, the dog's going to chase you. Well, that's like a tornado. I'm like, don't move. The tornado will chase you. Don't let it see.
Oh, you should move. Yeah, really. Its vision is based on movement. Like a dinosaur.
Wait, I thought that was Jurassic Park. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Well, the same guy wrote it, so yeah.
Yeah, good point, Anne. Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, I have no idea if this is entertaining anybody but us, but whatever.
We're hysterical.
I agree. My tummy hurts from laughing. That's okay.
So
all right,
wonderful.
folks. Well, thank you for joining us today for our final, at least for a while, Friday Afternoon Club, because Anne has to go to work next week. So we will be live with you again, probably not until, I don't know, do we want to do anything live on Sunday, or do we not want to just wait till Wednesday?
I can do something on Sunday. I can do something Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Should we do a special Father's Day tribute live show on Sunday?
Oh, that sounds awesome. Bring your dads.
Bring your dads. We're going to do a special live Father's Day tribute. I don't know. Do you think we dare bring our own dad on? I don't know. He can use Zoom now, so it might work. Anyway,
okay,
we'll talk about
Saturday
that
Night
later.
Live skit where their guys like, hey, do you hear that? I got to answer the phone. The phone's ringing. Like, no, Grandpa, it's on the movie. It's on the movie, Grandpa. I'm just saying.
I know. Hey, Lance wants to know where you're working.
Oh, I work at In Touch Therapeutic Massage. I'm a massage therapist. So, it should be interesting. I bought a biohazard suit, so I should be fine.
Okay. Is it the kind that you plug in that you get to carry your own oxygen tank in?
Of course. I couldn't figure out how to do this online, so now I got to go back to work.
I know. Sorry. I know. Can you do massage online Zoom meeting massage therapy? That'd be hilarious.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh my gosh, so funny. Okay, I'm gonna watch everybody me get a massage, and I hope that makes you feel better.
Super. Carrie Lennon, thank you for joining us. Better late than never. You absolutely need to go back and watch our PhD level dissertation on the movie Twister. It's that good. So anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rabbit is good. Rabbit is wise.
Rabbit is good. Rabbit is wise. Imminent brewage. Again, Ann Brothers, tell your husband, imminent brewage.
Imminent brewage. I will tell him, because that seems like a real missed opportunity.
I agree. It's time. So Anyway, folks, we're going to close it out. We will see you on Sunday. What time do we want to meet people and talk about your dads on Sunday?
I don't know. Should we meet earlier? 4 your time, 5 my time?
Let's do that. So right in the middle of everybody's dinner, let's do that. You can eat your dinner and you can watch us talk about our dad. So awesome.
Well, everybody should be having a barbecue at like, so the barbecue should be done, or to be pre-barbecue people.
Ooh, pre-barbecue. That's a good idea. I love it. So Lance says that he loves us, and Lance, we love you too, man. One of these days, I'm going to actually get back to Colorado and hang out with you because I miss you. I miss you, cousin. All right. And brothers, happy Friday
brothers.
too. Love you guys.
Happy Friday.
Thanks for joining us on this fantastic Friday, and we will see you guys on Sunday, 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern, for our amazing Father's Day special. All right, you guys.
Exactly.
Peace out.